Now I'm inviting our third session is going to start, and the chair of the third session is from Mauritius, Acharya Brahmadev. He's a great scholar there, and the co-chair is Roshan Parashram Singh from Trinidad. He is the president of Arya Pratinidhi Sabha of Trinidad. So now I invite Roshan Parashram Singh from Trinidad to introduce the chair of the third session. Yes, Roshanji.
Professor Dr. Ravi Prakash Aryaji, Chair of the Maharshi Dayanand University, members of the Advisory Committee of the Chair, guest speaker, distinguished guests, scholars, devotees, a warm welcome and namaste. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to our workshop today. Today my task is a very humble one, the introduction of our chair for the third session. On behalf of the chair of the Maharshi Dayanand University, I would now like to introduce Acharya Brahmadev. He is an inclusive educational background in science, Banking University of Mauritius, Management, ABE, UK, and Darshan Charya, Vedic Philosophy, Darshan Yog Mahavidya Yala, Gujarat, India, and a diverse career in financial service industry and at Arya Pratinidhi Sabha, Mauritius. He is the author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issue in English and French, with daily sharing on social media. I now hand over to you, to our esteemed and distinguished guests for this afternoon session. For today, third session, Acharya Brahmadev.
Acharya Brahmadev, now you can invite your speakers if you have the list.
Yes, Namaste ji.
Namaste.
So welcome to this third session. The first speaker of this session, I would be calling on Mamta ji, research scholar, Department of Defense and Strategic Studies, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. She would be speaking about Satyarth Prakash, relevant for research. Mamta ji.
Yes, if ममता आवाज सुन रही हैं तो वो आए, अपना पेपर प्रेजेंट करें.
I don't see her.
I think
So I'll call on,
you take up the next speaker.
I'll call on the next speaker, Sri Joginder Singh, research scholar, Department of History, Kalinga University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. He would be talking on Swami Dayanand's social philosophy and the Satyarth Prakash in contemporary education. Sri Joginder Singh ji, please, the floor is yours. Oh, we don't see him. Joginder Singh ji, you're here.
Oh, I think you proceed further.
We'll go for the next speaker, Dr. Bhushan Chamanji from Mauritius, on encouraging the propagation of scientific knowledge and participation in scientific research among students of higher educational institutions through the Vedas. Dr. Bhushan Chaman, please. Dr. Bhushan Chaman, please. Yes, the floor is yours. You need to unmute yourself. Dr. Bhushan Chaman, please, we can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, that's good.
Right, so am I the one to presenting right now?
Yeah, the
Yes,
floor
yes.
is yours.
I thought it
Please.
was in 10 minutes time.
No
Sorry.
problem. You take your time. That's not a problem. You can take even more time because two speakers are not available.
Okay, no worries. So I'm just loading my presentation. Just a few seconds. So can you see my screen?
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. I think it's on now.
Yeah, that's clear. Please go ahead.
Okay. So सभी को सादर namaste. Warm welcome to all, and thank you for watching this presentation. I won't be long because it's a very short presentation, a 10 minutes presentation.
Yeah.
And the title of my presentation today is Encouraging the Propagation of Scientific Knowledge and Participation in Scientific Research among Students of Higher Educational Institutions through the Vedas. And as Acharya already said, I'm Dr. Bhushan Chaman. I'm an environmental scientist by profession. I work for the government of Mauritius. And at the time being, I'm also the president of the Arya Yuvak Sangh, the youth wing of the Arya Samaj in Mauritius. And the next slide will show a brief about myself, which I've already presented last month in the context of Satyarth Prakash. So let's just jump into the topic of today. It is actually a piece of research which I want to conduct in the coming weeks or coming months. As we all know, science is responsible for the progress and development of the world. We have many technological advancements linked to science. And in other words, science is categorized as evolution. Anything that is changing is science. And we won't be able to observe, to want to see a world without science. It will be like a void. And nowadays, there is changes that has come with science. We all know that it is an evolving world. It is dynamic. It is ever-changing. And now people are talking about machine learning, artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and all this is linked to science. If you don't
Dr.
have a
Chaman,
good background,
just please.
Yes.
You need to reshare your screen.
Okay, sorry. Visual. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I will just start from the science phase. As I said, science is responsible for progress and development, and also all the technological advancement is linked to science. In other words, science is evolution. It is ever-changing, it is dynamic, and we won't be able to see a world without science. It will be like a void. Now, as we all know, there is as I said before, science is evolution. It is ever changing. So we are all talking about machine learning, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and fintech. But all these things are linked to science. If we don't have the proper background, we don't have the exact background, the exact knowledge about science, we won't be able to come up with these things. And we have noticed, be it in India or in other countries, there is a decline in the number of science students. If you could have a look at this slide, many researchers, as you can see, this first researcher in Ruth Chaudhary in 2021, this person actually says that finding employment in science has led to students choosing science to go down. Actually, people find it difficult to find employment in science, so this is the reason why they are not choosing science. Also, the other researchers, they actually see science, the trend is going down in secondary and tertiary educational institutions. And people, actually students, are choosing non-science courses, non-science subject. And Garg and Gupta in 2003 actually says that there is a general decline of science courses in higher education over the years. And this is the piece of statistic that I actually found. Probably we could improve it in the near future. Only 19% students actually have chosen science in India out of the whole population, the 100% student. So roughly 1/5 of the student population, they are actually choosing science. And the same thing is actually even happening in Mauritius. If you see this piece of research in 2017, it says that despite various initiatives, science subjects are not popular among students at school certificate and higher school certificate level. It's O level and A level. It's actually not so popular, not so common. Students are not choosing this subject. And Dr. Gopi actually says in 2013, there is a decline in the proportion of students opting for science in Mauritius. So we can see that actually is a problem both in India and in Mauritius. Lesser number of students are actually choosing science. Now, the rationale of the study. I believe you can still see my screen, right? It's okay?
Okay, it's okay.
It's okay, right.
No. Yeah.
Okay?
It's okay.
Okay, right. So the rationale of the study is no longer presenting. Right. So the rationale of the study, there is lesser number of students that are actually opting for science at higher educational level in India and Mauritius. And as I said before, science is important for the progress of the country, be it in technological advancement or research. And the new areas that are coming up are artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning. They are emerging areas, but if we don't have people with scientific background, it won't be possible for us to adapt to these changes. The Vedas were given to mankind upon the creation of the universe. Vedas actually represent a vast array of scientific knowledge, and most discoveries and scientific theories were based on decrypting the mantras. And there is a general tendency of youngsters to know what's actually in the Vedas. And if students are introduced to Vedas from an early age, this actually could be a bait, could be used as a bait to lure a student towards studying science. If I take some examples, I will take just 2 examples. This mantra taken from the Rig Veda. It actually shows water formation, how water has been formed. We all have studied chemistry or general science in lower secondary level, and it shows how water is actually formed. 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. This common equation, this very popular equation, comes from the Vedas. This mantra, actually, if you decrypt these mantras, this mantra, it will give you this equation. If I take another example, another mantra, Om Shanno Indro, Shanna Indro, this mantra, it actually gives some examples how the water cycle is, how photosynthesis is, how plants actually manufacture their own food. So these few examples, which are very basic examples, will be able, we could actually show these to the students, and they will be able to actually have a general tendency to move towards science. Now, the methodology that which probably will adapt for this piece of research, it will be a survey questionnaire, where we'll design a survey questionnaire. There'll be roughly around 500 students to be interviewed. We'll see, we will have to play with the amount of proportion, how many Indian students and how many Mauritian students will be interviewed. And we will determine the findings from the survey, from the statistical analysis that we will do after the survey. We'll come up with the results and discussion, and eventually the conclusion, which will bring us to the recommendation. That's all for today. It's actually a study that has not yet been conducted, and I just wanted to show you how we probably could be able to make some students that are actually not learning science, they are in lower secondary level, they could be able to come up with, we could be able to come up with some means and ways to bring these students back on track to learn science. Because if we don't learn science, we won't have people to actually come up with this, to use these technologies that I mentioned before: artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, robotics, all these things. If you don't have basic physics knowledge, you don't have basic chemistry knowledge, you don't have basic biology knowledge, you probably won't be able to work in these fields. So thank you very much, Acharya ji. Thank you very much, Professor ji. It was a very fruitful opportunity for me to present again on your platform. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bhushan Chamanji.
Yeah. Now I think we have one more speaker has come. Mamata
Yeah,
is there. If,
call it.
if Mamata
So
is
that was an
listening,
insight
yeah.
science
Yes, sir.
related
I'm
to
present
Vedas.
now.
We are calling speaker number 10 for today, Mamtaji, who had some internet problems. So Mamtaji, research scholar, Department of Defense and Strategic Studies from Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. The topic of today for her is Satyarth Prakash, relevant for research. Mamtaji, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Extremely sorry for the internet issues, and thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity right now. Sir, I want to share my screen for PPT. Please allow
Yeah.
me for that.
Yes, you can share. It's this
Thank you, sir.
arrow sign is there. Na? Through arrow sign, you go to the window. It will show you tab window. You go to the window and you can share.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
visible.
Okay, thank you, sir. My paper title is Satyarth Prakash, relevant for research. First of all, I want to tell something about Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati, the great personality. He has been a great Indian philosopher of Vedic ideology, an influential religious and social reformer, which is the need of the time when he was there in the world with us. First, to give the call for Swaraj as India for Indians, which was later on propounded by Dr. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He was also the founder of Arya Samaj, and he denounced the idolatry and ritualistic worship, and many more. So, in a nutshell, he has been a great personality, a great reformer, a great Indian in total. Now, the topic of my research, Satyarth Prakash, which was written by Swami Dayanand Saraswati in 1875 and subsequently revised by himself in 1882. Its major portion is dedicated to reformist advocacy. And a special feature, according to me, is comparative study of different religious faiths. It, uh, it includes 14 chapters. The first chapter is an exposition of Om and other names of God. There is something which is a fact and which is very much known to us. I want to bring it in light. We do not know our all relatives, but we know there is one God whom we believe very much. So it must be the topic of research to find out the truth, to find about the scientific approach in Om and its benefit. Second chapter, which provides guidance on the upbringing of children. As we know, our life starts on the earth as a child, and its upbringing is the toughest task, I believe, on the earth. So, the second chapter, which deals with this, must be researched. Third chapter, which explains the life of Brahmacharya, that is, bachelorhood, the duties and qualifications of scholars and teachers, good and bad books, and the scheme of studies. Education we consider a very important part of life. It is what we make animal a social animal, which is called man. And it's not only the education, but what should be the duties of the scholars, what should be their qualifications. We talk about books, but we should differentiate qualitatively between good and bad books and the scheme of the studies, not blindly following the study scheme which is given to us by British rulers, but a scheme which is suitable to our needs. The fourth chapter is about marriage and married life, which is an important step in human life. The fifth chapter is about giving up materialism and starting to carry out community service. In the corona situation, we have felt a tremendous need of community service, which was very much highlighted even in the 19th century when Swami Dayanand Saraswati was there in the world. The sixth chapter is about science of government. The people who are governed and the people who are governing, they must have a cordial relationship. They must have some reasonability. They must know about the need of the governed and the way they are governing. So it is relevant today in the present world, and I think it will be relevant till the earth existence. The seventh chapter is about Veda and God. Veda are our ancient treasures, which we must carry out, we must search, we must follow according to our relevant needs and also the faith in God. Eighth chapter deals with creation, sustenance, and dissolution of the universe. Our philosophers not only focus on our society, our Indian society, our geographical parts, but they believe in the universe as the whole. The principle behind it is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, in which we believe from our ancient times. The ninth chapter deals with knowledge, ignorance, emancipation, and bondages, which is the need of the society in past, in present, and also in future. 10th chapter deals with desirable and undesirable conduct and permissible and forbidden diet. Conduct is which creates a society, which flourish a society. So it must be focused. But in present Indian society, we are lacking somewhat in this field, which must be focused. 11th chapter is about criticism of various religions and sects prevailing in the India. We know from the childhood that there is a religion, there is a God, but we are not ready to hear its criticism. Criticism is basically a constructive debate. What is their good and what is their bad in the thing? If there is something bad which is not relevant at present, that must be skipped. The 12th chapter deals with Charvak, Buddha, and Jainism religions. 13th chapter contains his views on Christianity, the Bible. 14th chapter contains his views on Islam. So major religions of the world which were originated in India. So we have a right, being the originator of these religions, to use it for constructive purposes, to use it constructively, to use it criticize what is what is not relevant, which is not contemporary, which is obsolete, and there is a need to remove those obsolete points. So as I have highlighted all these 4 chapters, main essence. So these all things are relevant, are today relevant, and I hope in future also they will be relevant. So why to ignore it? Let's research it together. So in a nutshell, I want to make a quotation in support of my argument that if India is there, no one can erase Indians. But if India is not there, Indians cannot survive for a moment. Our PM has mentioned that we must be vocal for local. I want to comprise not only industrial, not only arts and craft, but our culture, our literature, those must also be included in this broad aspect of our present day government. Consider good and relevant. What is good? What is relevant? Whether it is 5,000 years old or it is 7,000 years old. If it's good, if it is relevant today, then why to shame in that, in following, in accepting? Ignore bad and relevant. What is 10 days old? Even if it is bad and irrelevant, then we must not shame in keeping that. Need of modernization, not westernization. I want to mention this point with great focus on this point. We blindly following what is in all around the world, but we must apply a logic, reasoning, scientific approach. Whether our country, our geography, our history, our culture, our weather, our society allows it, ready for it, or could be made ready for it. So I will strongly go for the point that we need a modernization, not a westernization. And in the end, respect for everyone, including oneself. If we can respect Western culture, then why not Indian culture? After all, we are the originator of religion. We accept Christianity. We have been a tremendous treasure of wealth in terms of literature, architecture, every cultural aspect. So that must be a concept of research. And in that, I will keep on the top Satyarth Prakash. So this is from my side. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Now, Brahmadev, I would like to invite Professor Anand Kumar ji. He want to present the introduction of.
नमस्ते सर.
Yeah.
हेलो, नमस्ते सर.
नमस्ते जी.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ बिल्कुल आ रही है आपकी आवाज.
सर मैं जसूबेन परमार उच्छल गुजरात से बोल रही हूँ सर.
आप बोल तो रहे पर आपका वो टाइम तो निकल गया अभी. चलो आप वेट कीजिए, आपको बुलाते हैं. अभी आप ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं ना?
अच्छा सर.
अभी आपको बुलाते हैं.
हाँ सर, जुड़ सकी हूँ. हाँ, नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम की वजह से.
चलो कोई नहीं, आपको टाइम देंगे. तो
अच्छा सर.
वी विल गो. हाँ, you wait. I'll invite. So
okay. Thank you sir.
We would like to invite Anand Kumar Sharma ji just to introduce Sri Ratiram, late Sri Ratiram Sharma ji, the Arya Pracharak.
Thank you, Dr. Arya ji. Thank you so much. And I am a little emotional because this was the task to be done by Dr. Vagisa Acharya, and we thought he can do it more objectively. So he was supposed to introduce Pandit Ratiram Sharma, whose birthday is today, and this event is to mark his 93rd birthday. We had a release of the film in his honor, and our chief guest was very kind enough to release and also say very encouraging words. मैं अब जो समय मुझे मिला है उसमें अपने पिताजी का वो परिचय देना चाहता हूं जो एक इस प्रकार का परिचय है जिनका सम एंड सब्सटेंस जो है वो दो ही में रहता था, एक ऋषि दयानंद और दूसरा आर्य समाज. आपको मैं बताऊं, चाहे मेरी शादी हो, चाहे मेरे भाई बहनों की शादी हो, कोई भी बड़ा फंक्शन हो, वो एक ही बात कहा करते थे कि जो भी कुछ आज मैं हूं वो सिर्फ ऋषि दयानंद और आर्य समाज की देन है और मेरे पास अपना कुछ नहीं है। और ये बात उनकी जो ऐसे ओकेजन, ब्याह शादी, उत्सव और उन प्रोग्राम के ही साथ नहीं थी। जब उनका अंत समय आ रहा था तो मैं उनके पास था और मैं बार बार उनसे पूछता था कि पिताजी आपकी कोई इच्छा है, कुछ आप किसी प्रकार का कोई आपके मन में कोई बात रह गई हो, तो मैं एकांत में उनसे पूछता था कि आप मुझे बता सकते हैं। तो यही बात कहते थे, देखो आर्य समाज और दयानंद का काम नहीं रुकना चाहिए। समाज की सेवा के लिए जो भी काम उचित है उसमें कभी तुम पीछे नहीं रहना और इसका काम करते रहना। मैं रिटायरमेंट के बाद एमए संस्कृत की परीक्षा दे रहा था उनके आशीर्वाद से। तो उन्होंने कहा था कि विद्या अनंत है और तुम पढ़ते रहना। और मुझे थोड़ी सी आत्मग्लानि होती थी कि पिताजी की वृद्धावस्था है, कभी वो इस संसार से जा सकते हैं, मैं उनकी सेवा से वंचित रह रहा हूँ। तो मैं उनसे कहता था कि क्या मैं आपके पास आ जाऊँ? बोले नहीं, तुम्हारी परीक्षा है, तुम्हारी पढ़ाई चल रही है, तुम उसको पूरा करके ही आना। और जब मैंने एमए कर लिया और उसके बाद जब मैं उनसे आशीर्वाद लेने गया तो उन्होंने कहा कि देखो एमए कर लिया तुमने, पर यहीं पर मत रुक जाना, तुम्हें हमेशा पढ़ते रहना है, विद्या जितनी भी ग्रहण कर लो उनकी उतनी थोड़ी है। मैं उनके व्यक्तित्व को इस ढंग से देखता हूँ कि जो उनका एक कमिटमेंट था, या ऐसा कहूँ कि उनके रग रग में स्वामी दयानंद का ऋण बसता था। क्योंकि जिस परिवेश में वो ग्रामीण परिवेश में पैदा हुए, जहाँ रूढ़ियाँ थी, जहाँ विकास के अवसर नहीं थे, उसको छोड़ करके एक शहर में आना और अपना व्यवसाय